Hello my friends, this is umonox, and in today's video we want to have a look at a change that was done to the grainer in the recent update, which finally makes it possible to use single cycle waveforms on that one. Now, I'm a bit late with that video. I was quite busy in the last weeks and also was ill for a couple of days, but I just don't want to keep that from you. Now, in my last video about the grainer, which was also my first one, I've showed you how we can use it to fake some kind of a unison sound with the help of an LFO on the tuning and everything. And in that video I told you that it would be awesome to use single cycle waveforms inside of that grainer as well. But sadly, this wasn't possible before, and I got an official answer from Elektron that this was also intentional that it wasn't working, but they said that they were also looking at it, and now, in the recent update that just came out, we actually did. And we made it possible to use those single cycle waveforms in here. So let's have a look at what we can do with this. Should we? First I create a new project, as usual. And again, as usual, I just take down the input level on the mix track right here. Where is it? Here. To have no noise and everything. Okay, so first let's go. Let's start. I have a couple of single cycle waveforms loaded to my Tonverk. I actually don't know where I got these from, but they are actually pretty cool, and I think let's just quickly select all of them so that we can listen to them once they are in. No. Here we are. I go to the second track where I have the single player machine assigned and just quickly assign the first single cycle waveform here and show you how that works. Now we loop those things so that we can hear them, and now it sounds like this. Straight. Okay, on that first track, let's now assign the grainer. And let's do the same thing here again. First, I show you what happened in the OS prior to the current one. When we loaded a single cycle waveform in there, have a look what happened there. See? There was nothing going on. There was no sound coming out. It was like the grainer was just not playing it back. And that has changed now. So when we bring in that waveform now and start to play something, it sounds like this. It just plays it back now. It doesn't sound right at the moment, but yeah, it is working now. So let's actually work on that thing. I quickly turn all those things down. I increase the size real quick and turn all of that stuff to 0 real quick, just to see how that thing sounds like. And we also need to go to the second page and turn the grain amount down to 1. Set this thing to oscillator mode. And now, when we play that back, listen to how that sounds. It is fading in and out. This is not what we want. So we work on that window right here and actually make sure that this thing is really, it has no attack and no release, so that this is looping correctly. Let's have a listen to how that sounds now. And let's compare that to the second track. Almost identical, right? But there's still, sadly, one drawback left when using the grainer in that case. Have a listen when I hit that note and keep it pressed. Have a listen to what happens. Can you hear that? It's probably a little bit hard to hear. Let's see if you can hear it better on a higher octave. Hear that? Where's that click of repetition? If we do just a little bit of a fade here, let's see if we can get that away. Not really. The more we turn that in, the more we get that kind of fade sound again. But once we turn it off completely, we have that click. And that has to do with the size of the grains. Now, Elektron has reduced the sample length so that we can finally make use of those single cycle waveforms, but they haven't increased the size of the grains themselves. So while this is looping inside of that window here, it is still starting to repeat once those 127 are reached. So this is 2 seconds. So it goes for 2 seconds and then it just repeats. And that's why that click is inside. Now we can get rid of this a little bit by using the density and the spread. And we will have a look at that. So first, let's see what we can do with this. Now, I quickly turn down the volume because we still have one single grain only. But once we turn in more grains here, the volume obviously gets louder. Have a listen. And now to the max. Sounds a bit weird, right? So let's start with 2 and see how we can shape that into something that we like. Now, first thing is the density. Let's not already trigger at different points. That also already sounds different compared to that one here. Now we can work on that spread. In fact, that adds more randomness, but when we once we keep the note pressed, we can still hear that click. See? It gets even more prominent now. That's actually a little bit of a drawback of that method, and we cannot really get rid of that unless Elektron increases the grain size. I've really tried that out in the first place by, for example, switching that track to mono. First thought it might have to do with the voice count, but yeah, doesn't change anything, and it also makes sense a little. It's just the size of these grains. The grain size isn't high enough, so maybe Elektron will change that one day as well. Now that we've also made it possible to use single cycle waveforms, we will see. But okay, let's actually have a look at what we can do with that sound to refine it even further now. In my last video, we did that kind of fake unison, and that is still working. So let's go to the mod section right here to the LFOs. And let's first set it to the tuning again. Take the multiplier up quite high, like so, and start fiddling around. Let's see. Maybe even higher. Maybe another mode. Yeah, it's a little bit static. Yeah, that's actually still working, and the more grains you put in, of course, you get what happens. The more prominent the effect will be. And the cool thing is we can obviously we have some spread already. Keep that a little lower and check the density. You see? You see? With more variety in how these grains are triggered and everything, we can actually smear that click a little bit, but we cannot completely get rid of it. That is sadly a little bit of an issue and a little bit of a drawback, but still. We can do a lot now. Increase the panning. Okay, yeah, and now it's just a matter of listen to these different waveforms. That one sounds neat as well. Oh, that's great bass. Yeah. Okay, and along with that, we also have new effects now, and let's actually see how if we can make that a little bit more interesting. And we've also changed something to the effects here, and I haven't actually did a research on that. Just one thing that I found is that the daisy delay is now available on a per track level as well, and it's not, you know, it's not a sand effect anymore. And that one is actually pretty neat on a per track level. So let's see if we can do something like that. Maybe add something in here and see how that sounds like. Okay, that's a little bit too low. But quite a powerful sound actually, but where is this problem? Still that problem that we have that click due to the limited size of these grains. But anyway, I really like that this is working now, and I actually didn't want to keep that from you, so let's see if we can get something else going here. Now, let's actually try to do something with the filter as usual, make it a little bit shorter, do some kind of a pluckier sound. Let's see. Assigning that thing to this filter frequency to get our filter envelope back. Turning it up a little, and let's go to the filter and let's see how that sounds like. Yeah, something like that. I think you get the idea. Let's actually try a sequence like that, and maybe add some chords every here and there, like, well, let's take those away and get them on a higher octave, like, a little bit weird. Let's have a listen. Here's another thing. The note length should be a little bit shorter when we do that on the sequence in the sequence level, because it seems like there is some kind of legato happening when those single cycle waveforms are used inside the grainer, and probably with the grainer itself as well. The moment we turn down, if we have sequences with shorter sounds, it's probably a little bit more useful to use the length parameter here and make those a little bit shorter. Because if we have things like the mod envelope for the filter inside, it doesn't actually catch up so well. So let's have a listen how it sounds now. Works a little bit better, right? And yeah. Let's also do one final thing and go to a send track and try out a new reverb that we have, which is the Steelbox reverb, which is also actually pretty cool. And let's have a listen to how that sounds. Turn the delay a little. Yeah, actually pretty neat. Let's also work on that sequence a little. It's a little bit boring. Let's take these notes out here. Just some guessing, you know. Yeah, you get the point. We can play around with those waveforms and just choose other ones while this is going and see how that sounds like. It's also a good one. See? You get the point, I think. And yeah, so what's more, again, if we need more Unison, let's just do that. That's a little bit too much. But let's also try to change the start position of these grains with kind of a random waveform. Let's see what that does. Very hard to hear, but probably depends on the wave that we have chosen. You get the point, I think. Now, this was just something that I wanted to show you. It's really, really great that the usage of single cycle waveforms is now also possible in the grainer. I really hope that we actually change the grain size so that these grains can become even longer, and that would allow us to really make use of these things for pads and everything, which are much longer, because we are still sadly limited to those 2 seconds maximum. And I was hoping that this is not affecting the single cycle waveforms, if that stuff will be available, but it's affecting them as well. So I will probably file kind of a feature request to Elektron to see whether they are also looking at that. I mean, they listened to my idea that I told them once, so maybe it happens twice. Okay, my friends, so that's it for today. Really nothing special. I just wanted to show you that it is now finally working. Okay, so have a great day, and also a very great Christmas time and everything. And I see you in my next video. Bye.